Hey y'all, welcome back to another video. We are in the deep of winter at the farm, picking veggies for market, bringing loads of chicken and pork we have in stores, and diving into a lot of really exciting projects and upgrades on the farm. So I'm going to show you around what we've got going on here in early January in the new year, 2026. We invested in a very nice new Sprinter van as a primary delivery vehicle and market vehicle for the farm. It's an interesting time right now because Amazon bought these fleets not so long ago. This is a 2019, and they're upgrading to an all-electric fleet. So the market is a little bit flooded with these vehicles, and we were able to snatch this up for a really good price. It's really smart, especially in the early life of a farm, to take farm profits and at the end of the year reinvest them into critical equipment for the farm as an asset instead of taxable income. We needed a new delivery van anyways. We started off with just our little personal hatchback for bringing chicken to markets and on deliveries, eventually upgraded to a Toyota minivan and a box truck, an old used box truck that we got for a deal. And what ended up happening was one was too small and one was too big. And so we decided to consolidate and get the right sized vehicle that's newer, more reliable, and gets really good mileage with the diesel engine. And with only 86,000 miles on it, this thing is going to last a very long time here on the farm. We really just enjoyed our deep winter break where the entire farm team took 2 weeks off from around the solstice until now. We had a little bit of a rotating cast of folks doing basic sheep moves, opening and closing tunnels, checking on things in general, but that's just a few minutes a day, and everyone's returning to the farm this week with a lot of rest, a lot of rejuvenation, feeling excited to continue this relaxed winter flow, but start to get back into the rhythm of things after a nice deep break. This is my primary project for the winter time because we are getting into egg layers this year, which is very exciting. I haven't documented the first initial steps, but I'll walk y'all along the journey from here forward. We had this old 17-foot trailer frame that I got off of Marketplace and have been using as a makeshift flatbed around the farm for the last couple of years. But we're going to be building a Eggmobile suitable for up to 400 birds off of this thing. So far I've just essentially made the floor beams off of the trailer frame. Very simple, just self-tapping screws into these L brackets to attach it, and then running down the sides, screwed in. And part of what is both functional and makes this extremely sturdy is along this side we've got these boards creating a very sturdy walkway for human entry and access into the Eggmobile, but it braces each of these lateral boards against each other and essentially made this into one extremely solid piece. So I've been telling some friends that I'm working on this, and I've been getting asked what model we're going off of, and it's mostly designed from scratch and calling it the Wild East Eggmobile. because it's a little bit different than any of the ones I've ever seen. I mean, generally, it's always a little funny to me to take a name claim to a simple piece of infrastructure like this that really just needs access, roosts, and nest boxes as the three primary elements to it. But it's a bit hard to describe given the stage we're at, and the visual as I take you along this build will help. But we'll have rollaway nest boxes that angle to the outside of the Eggmobile so we can collect eggs without needing to enter. And then we'll have a short and a tall side, with the tall side being where the roosts are angled up to. And like I said, roosting space enough for 400 birds at a time. We are just starting with 300 this year to get our feet wet in the egg laying enterprise. But it's always nice if you have something like this size trailer frame to size it above your current needs or your current capacity in case you do want to expand. That's what we're looking to do with this, testing out 300 birds this year and seeing where we can expand in the future. So this is a very fun project, designing it and building it from scratch, and I'll make sure to document this in detail and create more of a video specifically step by step the process that goes into this and the final product. Haven't been able to document a lot step by step, but trying to get videos as we go. We got these nice prefab rollaway nest boxes that can have an automatic perch opener to open the perch up and allow access for the chickens without us having to come out here at dawn. And they're rolling away to the outside of the Eggmobile so that we can do egg collections without entering the structure daily. We've got it all framed up, the basic roof joists and verticals, and finished out the flooring with this nice material. Again, it's just thick enough to allow poop to go through, but not so big are the gaps that it is going to be challenging for the chicken's feet, like slipping through. So next steps are putting in roosts from our little walkway up diagonally to the tall side, and then setting the roosts on the tall side of the structure, getting the roofing clad so that we can put the metal on top and get it really nice and secure, and then framing out a door and some bracing on the end walls before closing it up with sheet metal. It's very exciting. Good progress this week. All right, pretty good progress today. We've got the roosts in, all framed up. We got the roof finished up. It's ready for sheet metal. And really, we're getting to about there with the basic bones of the structure. Just next steps are putting in a diagonal cross bracing and some horizontal strips for cladding for the metal. And then on this side, we'll frame out a little door entryway close to the nest boxes, access to the walkway. That will have its own bracing effect, and then put in another diagonal brace as well to keep the load evenly distributed on either end wall. But happy with progress. It's looking like a Eggmobile. We've bought a fair amount of materials new and tried to be selective about what we were investing in versus what we were more scrapping. We were able to get kind of a mother load of nice free sheet metal that's also green and will be a nice color for the structure, totally for free off of a roofing job nearby, pulling it from their dumpsters. We're using mostly pressure treated new wood for the longevity of this structure in these warm, wet seasons we have in the south. We also got this original trailer frame, as I mentioned, off the marketplace for $100 a couple years ago, and it's finding its permanent use. And then we also decided, instead of making our own, to invest in these nice stainless steel professional nest boxes. The nest boxes have these perches that are on a hinge and come up at night. We're waiting on the automated, or the mechanism that automates the opening to arrive, so I'll show that once it's installed. And the idea is the layers will enter from the interior to lay their eggs, and the eggs will roll out to the exterior. All right, the Eggmobile is just about finished. We were really happy that the scrap metal we got from that roofing reno nearby is this nice color green. It fits in aesthetically with the farm. And so just a little last walkthrough at this stage. We have this nice overhang to keep the rollaway nest boxes under cover, so we can collect from the outdoors even when it's raining without getting wet. 4 nest boxes accommodates 300 birds. And interior is pretty much fully built out. We've got the roosting structure, support beams for just extra security getting up on the roof anytime we have to service up there. I'm going to put chicken wire along the top to help influence a convection current that pulls hot air out of the high side while keeping them protected. And so that, and since it is scrap metal, there were old roofing screw holes that I have to plug up. So those 2 elements, and then the last little touch up besides that is putting 2 doors for entry and exit for the chickens that will be solar powered, backed up on a battery, and set on a timer so that we don't have to come out at dawn every day for them to have access to pasture when they arise. So Eggmobile really coming along. I want to emphasize I'm not particularly the best architect or carpenter, and learned a lot while I was doing this project. It's definitely the most overbuilt or intensive animal infrastructure on the farm now. And, you know, a lot of the learning was just how much you can figure out as you go. It was really the first project of this size I've designed from scratch and thought through step by step. Did the whole thing for just under $3,000, which I know I mentioned it before, but comparing that to the prefab models that can accommodate the same amount of birds with similar amounts of automation, running closer to $20,000 delivered, we're going to be turning over profit on our eggs way quicker than investing in something like that with just as much ease built into the day-to-day. So the birds are arriving in about a month's time from right now, and I'll update you with those final modifications to finish out and walk you guys through how we're going to introduce the birds into their new structure and onto the farm. And that'll really this year be the first jump into springtime at Wild East, first animals arriving on the farm at the end of February. So stay tuned for that. I hope this was a helpful video. Please make sure to like, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and we'll see you next time.